All right, Tone, look, so much to discuss, but I think it's only right that we start with Anthony Joshua, former unified heavyweight champion. He's in America right now. Now, a lot of people wonder why he's over in America. It looks like, and this is from the outside looking in, that he's shopping for a new trainer. I say that because we have seen images of him with Eddie Reynoso. We've seen images with him with Virgil Hunter, and we've seen him hitting the pads with Ronnie Shields. Now, a lot of people have said he should leave Rob McCracken after that defeat to Alexander Usyk. Before we talk about those three trainers, Tony, I want to ask the question to you. Should he leave Rob McCracken? Have we seen that duo and that time kind of expire? And should he be going to America to look for a newer trainer when there are, some people might say, good trainers over here?
First and foremost, I think we have to acknowledge the job that Robert McCracken has done with Anthony Joshua. He found him as a raw novice amateur boxer. He turned him into an Olympic gold medalist, a European silver medalist, a world championship silver medalist, a unified heavyweight champion of the world. So first and foremost, you give credit where credit's due. Robert McCracken's a fantastic coach. I understand what Anthony Joshua's doing at the minute. He's looking at a change being as good as a break. And I get it with fighters. I'm a fighter who's moved coach trainers in the past. And a different coach brings in a different input, maybe ignites something that was missing from previous camps or setups. It's a hard one. It really is, because there's very few coaches in the world or teachers as good as Robert McCracken. Believe you me, I know. But there will be coaches who have a different approach than Robert McCracken, and that could benefit AJ. So it's all going to be how AJ clicks with these guys. And listen, it's going to have to be quick, Addy, because this is no time to get like a feel-out fight or to see how the relationship's going to go. He's got to hit the ground running. And going in with Alexander Usyk a second time with a new trainer is very risky. But at the same time, I also understand why he's doing it. He's addressing a problem that he feels that, he just needs a fresh outlook, a fresh output. And that's no deterrent or takes anything away from Robert McCracken and the job he's done. It's just a fighter only gets one opportunity in one career. A trainer gets dozens upon dozens with how many trainers he wants to train, Addy. The fighter gets one. So always take that in mind, that, he's got one opportunity, he's got to make the most of it. And I think that's what Anthony Joshua's doing.
It's funny because I remember speaking to Anthony Joshua in Sheffield about 3 weeks before the fight with Usyk. And I said, doesn't this get boring and mundane? And he said, no, of course it doesn't. I said, going to Sheffield, different, same voice in the corner, same voice in training. Do you want to try something new? And he was like, you know what? He loves Sheffield. Obviously, he's got a great connection with Rob McCracken. I almost feel, I'm with you. I feel like it might just be a case of another voice, some fresh ideas. And it kind of gives you that kickstart when you go to training, right? You're almost out of the comfort zone. And I feel like AJ might need to step out of that comfort zone in order to get the job done against Usyk. Let's look at the three names that we know he's been linked with in America. Reynoso first, obviously, look, trainer of the year, obviously doing a good job with Canelo and the likes of Ryan Garcia and Frank Sanchez and others as well. Would you make of Reynoso as a potential fit for AJ?
I think Reynoso is an absolutely fantastic trainer. The stumbling block I see there is Andy Ruiz being in camp. So I think that's a bit of a stumbling block. But, if they can look past that and keep it as professional as possible, which I'm sure Reynoso will do, then, he's a brilliant coach, Addy. The job he's done with Canelo is phenomenal. He's a fantastic coach. He really, really is. Technically, very astute, very clever. And he puts game plans in order fantastically well, as he's shown when Canelo defeated Triple G, clearly in the rematch. So he's shown he can get the game plan right and the tactics right at the highest level against quality opposition. For someone like Ronnie Shields, he's a trainer of Charlo. I'm a little bit skeptical on this one, only because I see the older American trainers, they tend to participate less with the actual coaching of the fighter. It's more of sticking on the heavy bag and watch how you work. And I don't like that approach personally. I think a trainer should be very hands-on, implementing changes and certain things in your game and your system. So it was good to see him on the pads with Ronnie Shields, but I'm not too sure how many American coaches take that approach these days. When it comes to Virgil Hunter, an absolute student and teacher of the game. There's very few left like him in the world. What I will say with someone like Virgil Hunter, I believe it will take time to adapt to his training style, his technique, and what he will be asking you to do in a boxing ring. I don't feel that's something that will show overnight and in the first fight that you're working under him. I think it's something that would take time and patience and perseverance ultimately, because he will want you to adopt a certain type of game plan and strategy that is alien to Anthony Joshua. So that's very, very hard to do.
Yeah, obviously with Virgil Hunter as well, there is the Joshua Boatsi connection, right? I mean, obviously AJ is working with Boatsi in their 258 management, so there's at least a connection there. Ronnie Shields has managed some great fighters. You mentioned obviously Jamal Charlo, Rigondeaux as well, Mike Tyson back in the day. I think the Reynoso one's interesting, but I just think there are almost too many superstars in that camp already, and too many heavyweights. I think you got Frank Sanchez, who I think is a top 10 heavyweight now. Ruiz, definitely a top 10 heavyweight. For AJ twice, it just, for me, it doesn't make sense. If not America, are there any trainers over here, Tony, that you think might work out? I mean, you mentioned Dave Caldwell a couple of times and how good a trainer he is. Adam Booth's there, Ben Davison, Shane McGuigan, obviously Lawrence Cody connection. If not America, anything over here?
They'll all be wanting to throw their hat, their name in the hat right now, to be honest, Addy. I think Shane McGuigan is a very good coach. I think Dave Caldwell's one of the best coaches in the country. I think Adam Booth, all of these guys, looking at them, as I've said, for me, Robert McCracken is a brilliant coach. He really, really is. He spent time around Tony Sims, who's another fantastic coach. I'm not going to lie, it's not so much about the coach. It's how Anthony Joshua clicks with the individual. That's the biggest thing for me here. Because you ain't going to change too much about Anthony Joshua's game and how he fights at this stage of his career and at the age that he's at. So it's got to be someone who literally clicks with him immediately and isn't going to try and change his mental makeup and his tactical approach to fights too much. It's very, very dangerous to start fiddling with a guy's mentality and how he approaches fights. I just think there's certain things that need igniting in Anthony Joshua. Maybe the aggression, maybe take him back to what he was doing before the Dillian White fight. Fights like, I just felt like it was a different fighter that we saw against Klitschko that we saw against Usyk. Now, I understand the styles are two completely different styles and it's quite compelling to watch the both fights back. But ultimately, that fighter is still in there for Anthony Joshua. He's just got to find a way to ignite that in himself again. And that is very, very hard to do for a fighter, because you go through certain progressive structures as a professional fighter. You go through a chain of different cycles as a fighter. You become a really hungry individual, an aggressive fighter. Then you can be like a champion and you relax a little bit and you take your foot off the pedal, but then it gets reignited against Ruiz and we see the best of him. And I feel like at this stage in his career now, he knows how damaging the defeat was, but it's also lit a fire in his stomach again, as if to say he wants to prove the world wrong again, because everybody's writing him off right now, Addy. Everybody's saying he has no chance of defeating Alexander Usyk. He does, make no mistake about that, and he has the capability and the ability to do it. He's just got to figure out the way he does it, and he needs a coach to believe in him and also have the same belief in the strategy put in place.